There's no denying the significance of the blue-colored boxes you see here. Join us this week as we share 3 incredible Tiffany & Co. Patek Philippe watches. Hi, you guys. Awesome to see you.
Yeah, good to be back.
I'm excited. We have a really special watch in the box today.
Something very special.
And for those at home, it's awesome to see you too. We have been listening. They've been asking, please stop showing us so many Rolex watches. So guess what, guys? Today we're doing not only Patek watches, all 3 of us have a Tiffany & Co. Patek watch, but not just any of them. We'll get to that in a minute because this is very exciting. Before we do that, I'd love to see what you guys are wearing on your wrist. Justin, what have you got on today?
In the Patek theme, I'm going with the white gold Calatrava. Gorgeous dress watch. Yes. I mean, this is exactly what I want from a dress watch. Beautiful, clean, timeless. I love it.
It's awesome.
What do you got on today?
It looks great. I got the dress watch memo, but I went with a Rolex Cellini. This is a 50525.
Cool.
You know what my favorite part is?
What's that?
The day-night indicator.
Yes.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah.
Some people could call this maybe the first emoji watch, but I'll leave that
Yeah.
for this. It just means it shows the sun on a white disc that literally allows you to indicate
and
that
moon,
it's daytime, and then it goes to moon at night on a black disc.
I'm counting it. I'm calling it the first emoji on the Rolex.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyway, rose
Great
gold.
watch.
Rose gold looks really great.
Pretty, yeah.
Thank you. What are you wearing?
I got the dress watch theme and the Patek
Vaulted.
theme also, so I've got a 5227, the same as you, Justin.
Yeah.
Except mine's rose gold.
You got the
with
rose gold version
ivory
with that ivory dial. It's beautiful.
The part I like most about this is the officer's case back, which is kind of like a vintage nod to the old pocket watches.
You would pull that out.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
And it's also good for checking if anything's in your nose or, whatever.
Let me see this. I actually did not know this. So yours does not have that
No,
feature?
his has it also.
It does.
What? And that
Super
really
cool.
is a great mirror.
I know. It's awesome.
Awesome little detail. All right, well, these are just our wrist checks for the day. We're curious, what are you guys wearing while watching? Please weigh in the comment section. I love getting to go through and respond to you guys and let you know that we loved what you're wearing. So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Tiffany Blue, iconic company. They've been around since 1837. They joined forces with Patek Philippe in 1851 to create a partnership that has stood the test of time. And in this partnership, they've given us some lovely watches. So we got 3 amazing watches to show today. I don't want to give too much away. Would you like to show us what you found this week?
Yes. So the partnership is going on for a long time. We have 3 modern examples, but absolute stunners nonetheless. Let's start off with the rose gold Patek Philippe Nautilus with the diamond bezel. Gorgeous, gorgeous watch. I love everything about this. I mean, first off, it's a Nautilus, right? I mean, such a great watch. And then in the rose gold, it dresses it up. And this one goes a step further by adding the diamonds. And this is a little bit smaller size, so it's about 35 millimeters. It's big enough to fit on a man's wrist. It's not too big to fit on the lady's wrist. And then of course you have the diamonds, which kind of just add to that elegance. It has the automatic movement with the 45-hour power reserve. It has 56 diamonds around the bezel, and it has just the smallest little Tiffany & Co. insignia on the dial down right above the date, which I personally really like. Sometimes I like the kind of all-in on the watch theme and style and collaboration. More often than not, though, I prefer it to be subtle. And that's exactly what we have here. If you're just seeing this on my wrist out at a restaurant somewhere in the wild, you don't know that it's a Tiffany co-branded watch. When you get up close to it, you can kind of see that logo on there, and then you can really appreciate it for what it is. So anyway, beautiful, beautiful watch. So excited when these came in. This was my favorite one. I had to share it with you guys.
I like it. I'm surprised that you chose the size, but I do see how it would work for any wrist, right? Literally anyone. It's definitely a fancy watch though.
I do like the tiger. I see tiger stripe when I look at the dial.
So do
it's
I.
really cool.
Especially
nice.
in the light.
Yeah. And then when you get your loop out and you see the Tiffany signature and that crisp white, it's pretty cool.
What an awesome watch.
Yeah.
Love this. I don't see a Nautilus in anything but steel most of the time. So it's nice to see this in a different metal.
I brought something that I think is very, very nice, but I am really excited to see.
You have
the
my
other
favorite
ones.
watch of the week so far.
I would not be surprised if it stayed that way.
Yeah, it
but
might.
I'm curious to see what you have as a possible contender.
Of course. Well, there is not much to tee up here other than that it is very clear that I have a Patek Philippe. But what? This Patek happens to be a 24. So this is one of their new ones. Typically the 24s are a rectangle shape. This is very clearly not. We have a circle. So this is a gorgeous 24, as I mentioned. This is very defined as a lady's watch. So this is in stainless steel. You have 160 diamonds around this bezel that really set off the importance of this sunburst blue, and then you've got the Tiffany cone branding above the date at 6 o'clock. I love this watch. The hidden butterfly clasp on the bracelet just lends to this sort of premium luxury of this watch in general. I really actually like this in the circular configuration. I've grown accustomed to a lot of the Cartier tanks and even the 24 that I brought a few weeks ago. Yeah. I love that watch. So I was interested to actually fall in love with the circular version, but look, when the watch is so comfortable on your wrist and it has all of the other details that you want, it just makes sense. And the best part is this is automatic. So I have a watch that I'm gonna love forever, guys. What do you think? Too
Brandon,
much?
what do you think
Just
of this
enough?
It's cool. I mean, when this first new 24 came out, I wasn't sure if I was into it or not. After seeing it, I kind of like it more. I like the luminous hour markers and hands. It's like more sporty, even though it's clearly like kind of a dressy or fancy-ish with the high polish, but with the dial, with the lume and the hour markers like that, it kind of gives it a sporty vibe, which I prefer.
It does a little bit.
And then, of course, the Tiffany signature is super cool. It's like also not super obvious, but
subtle.
against the blue dial, you know, it kind of pops.
Sure.
It's pretty cool.
I love it. For me, when I see that, the first thing that comes to mind is just elegance. It is just such an elegant timepiece. The diamonds just sparkle on there, and then there's the sunburst blue dial. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. It is inherently more feminine than this one, even though they both have diamonds. It's not so shareable, although I don't think that it's necessarily solely a lady's watch. I know plenty of guys that could pull it off. I don't know that I could, but I would absolutely try. And I think the blue dial kind of helps a little bit if you are a man that wants to, get that little touch of kind of like the more masculine color on like a more refined, elegant watch. I think it's a beautiful combination. It's just gorgeous. From across the room, I would spot that and kind of appreciate how special it is.
It made deciding this week very easy, so I hope you guys at home also enjoyed my pick. I cannot wait for vintage though. What did you find, Brandon?
So I've got not a vintage Rolex. It's a modern Patek, a reference 5098R. So it's kind of an interesting model that's kind of like in the shadows still, like not super like on everyone's radar, but that makes it kind of cool, I think. So this one's retailed by Tiffany as well on the dial. It's actually the first known one that I've ever seen, and I was searching around and couldn't find another. So yeah, they didn't make too many with the Tiffany on the dial, which is cool. So we didn't really mention it before, but Patek and Tiffany have a relationship where Tiffany retails Pateks out of their salon.
Yes. But
not all the watches that Patek sells do have Tiffany stamps. So when they have the stamp, it's actually rare and more special, and hence you see it kind of like they're more expensive.
It's a premium, it's more collectible. And
exactly. So it's cool that these all have the stamp, of course. So that's something. And Tiffany retailed other watches too, like Rolex, and that's why we see some Rolexes with Tiffany stamps. And so it's kind of interesting where like...
It's definitely worthy of 170 plus years of a partnership. It's crazy to think what has come out in that time frame, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. This model, the 5098R, the 5098 came out in 2007. The rose gold version like this came out in 2009, and this one's from 2019. I picked this because this watch is actually inspired by a watch that Patek made back in 1925, the Chronometro Gondolo, which is also set on the bottom of the dial. So it's got the Breguet numerals, which is super deco looking. The spade hands, these are actually gold hands that are brown colored, which is super cool. The dial, if you look closely, it's got this very intricate pattern that's called guilloche. It's actually hand done. I love the little details like the screws on the sides of the case that match the screw here for the buckle. Overall, super cool.
I have to be honest, I'm super impressed by the rose gold. The coloring of it alone is just stunning. It's very unique. It's not like any other rose gold watches that I've seen before.
It'll be interesting to see like what people think of this watch like in 20, 30 years from now, especially with like the Tiffany signature. Because right now, honestly, it's like under the radar, not for everyone, this specific case shape. It's got the sapphire display case back, which is nice. Let's see here. The whole watch is actually curved a little bit, so it like hugs your wrist when you put it on.
Very comfortable.
Nice. But the sapphire case back's always cool. Manual winds.
I love that watch. I think it's such an interesting piece. Barring the Tiffany logo, I think it's great. I love the vintage inspired. This is actually a very good Brandon choice, right? I know these we didn't have the option to choose vintage watches today, which I know puts you a little out of your element, but I think you did a great job because, like you said, very vintage inspired. I love the way it looks. Everything from the tone of the rose gold on the case and the leather strap and that very like Art Deco feeling dial. It just has that kind of re-release of the original watch from the 20s. And I love that. I think it's fantastic. My favorite part of that whole entire watch is actually that texture on the dial, that hand-done tooling. When you see it up close, it's just it's just beautiful, right? So I really love the attention to detail. And then, like you said, the Tiffany just kind of brings it up another level. It's a really nice watch, and adding that Tiffany collaboration just makes it extra special. Like you don't see these. You're not going to see this somewhere.
There's something to be said about, I don't want to call it a stamp of approval, but that stamp of association with a company like Tiffany & Co. Come on. Like, you want to know where this is going to go in 50 to 100 years. That company is going to be even bigger than they were today. Look at the partnerships that they've been doing with other bigger brands, you know? They're kind of having a little bit of their own sort of heritage push, right? They're kind of nodding back to some of the like brands and things that have gotten them to where they are today, and then kind of collaborating from that standpoint. And who knows where the trajectory is for them as a brand, but I love how it plays back to us and watches and not Rolex for once, and kind of learning a little bit about sort of the partnerships that had existed for 170 plus years. That's phenomenal. They're doing great works like this. Who knows what the future holds.
Quite a variety too, right? I mean, we have a fantastic variety of 3 very different watches that are, just kind of the pinnacle. They're at the top, and they're they're all special in their own way.
Yeah, it's really fun to kind of see you all sort of present some of these super premium details that when we're looking at other brands, we're not necessarily seeing. So this felt like a very elevated show today. I really appreciate your guys' picks. I'm curious at home what you guys thought though. Did you have a favorite watch of the week? Be sure to sound off. It's not a competition. We're just curious, are we doing our jobs well? And if we are, please let us know. I really appreciate you guys showing up today, having a fun conversation about something very unique.
Yeah, these were amazing.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back again next week. Be sure to join us right here then. Until then, though, be well.